video gives an introduction on using Argo UML to create a class diagram. You can find it if you're in the computer science undergraduate labs. You should find it under your menu, however that is indicated. And for me it's under programming. For you it's probably pretty similar, and here at the top I have Argo UML, which allows us to create UML diagrams. We're going to create some of the simplest UML diagrams that we can possibly create, namely just a class diagram. And in this case we only indicate classes, not relationships between classes. So here you're seeing this little icon here at the top is the indication of a new class. So if I click on that, I can drop it into my drawing space and I've created the start of a diagram. So I'm going to create the diagram that's for the game of NIM that I made available for the project. So I'm creating 4 classes. So here I just double clicked at the top, which is where the name is supposed to go, and I typed in move. In the middle is where you put the attributes, and remember that I'm creating 2 attributes. One of them is the pile number of type int, and I want to create another. If I go down here, this is where I can work as well, and as you can see there's a little icon here which allows me to create a new attribute. Again, I prefer to edit in here. This is a very powerful tool. Most of its features we don't need, and it's actually much more complicated than what we need, so I want to just keep it simple and I'll just type in what I want. So I have amount of stones, which is also of type int, and I had one method right now in here which was a toString method whose type is string. Okay, so I just typed this in and I've created my first class. Now I want to create another one. I just click on the icon for a new class. I just drop it in here and I want to give it a name. So one of the names that I've given it was the name piles, and this one has 3 attributes. So pile 1 of type int. I want another attribute, and here I can work over here as well. I'm going to call it pile 2, and it has attribute int or type int. And the third one was pile 3, also of type int. Alright, now let's create some instance variables or some methods. One of them was to take stones, and stones take 1 argument, a move, and it doesn't return anything, so I can either do nothing or specify type void. I can create another operation, and the other one was is empty, which just check to see if the pile is empty, no more stones left, so it returns a boolean and doesn't take any arguments. I can create another attribute, and so notice that when I'm double clicking on this, or when I'm clicking on the attribute, it allows me to edit it, so that means that I can add stuff later as well. It also allows me to delete operations with this little garbage can thing here. So I'm just going to add one more. So for example, nimsum was another method that I wanted in here. Again, it doesn't take any arguments and it returns an int. If I decide later, you know what, I've removed this method, I don't need it anymore, you can just delete it by using that little icon there. Alright, so it gives me a start. I can create another class, which could be the player class. Again, I can give it some attributes. One attribute for here was for the name of type string, and again to create an operation or a method, I wanted to choose a move, and to be able to choose a move I had to use the piles. So current piles of type piles, and it returned a move. Okay, so here I've just created some classes. I can move these around if I just like this layout better, and now I can save this as a project so that I can continue working with it. So I'm just going to call this is my NIM project. I can save it. If I want to be able to make this available to others that don't have this, I can save it as a graphics file, so a PNG, a GIF. These obviously are the choices that I have here. And I can just save it as a NIM class diagram and save it. So that if I look inside of my browser and I'm inside of the folder that I saved it in, I have it here as a diagram that I can read from. And of course, if I close this, I can reopen it by browsing to it, and I can continue working with it. I can make adds, additions, etc. from it. So a basic tool to help me manipulate this a little bit and make it easy to continually update my class diagram.